Well, am I happy to see you at last. And there's a lot of reports going out into this world about sudden shifts that are occurring in self-consciousnesses with some very fundamental realizations of this teaching. This is a course in miracles. It's a procedure that allows you to continually express an inner view of how you really look. And in the discovery of how you really look inside will be the surprise that the way you have forcibly presented yourself to this world based on an aggregation of thoughts that you have had about yourself is actually not what you are. These are teachings of instantaneous communication based on recognition of each other in the auspices of the Savior, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The presentation that I am offering you involves the message that he has given us, will give us, and is giving us now. It's the simple message that necessary in your condition of the discovery of eternal peace and happiness based on the relief of the fear and loneliness that you are feeling is the forgiveness of your enemy. Your fundamental recognition and acceptance of the idea that your enemy, the associations that you saw within this configuration of time, were actually only reflections of your own mind, perhaps has made it a lot simpler for you to express in happy amazement how easy forgiveness is if it only requires forgiveness of your own thoughts. The recognition that it is only yourself that you forgive required that you accept back in the configuration of this world as you see it, ideas that you had about yourself were fearful of holding on to, projected from you, and are now coming back to attack you. This is the teachings of my Savior, Jesus Christ. In Sermon on the Mount, he showed me that in a very fundamental way, it didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how the world looked at me to justify the grandiose actions I was taking in order to justify my ego. He showed me that as I thought, I would get the result of my action of mind. Not only would I get the result of the guilt that I felt about my so-called guilty thoughts, little theology here, I would also get the result of the guilt of pain and death that I conflict or project onto my brother in order to retain the nature of the idea of exchange, the idea of an eye for an eye, the idea that I could get even. If you've come this far with me now in the basic teaching of the recognition to lay down the defenses of your conceptual mind and invite your enemy to come and join you in the resolution that you have discovered within your own mind that assures you that a bright and happy prospect of a new realization of purpose of why you are here is now upon you. Practice, I'm healed. Do you see what occurred just then? The moment that you determined to share that instant of joy or happiness that managed to penetrate the cloud of your defense of yourself, we began to share that moment of joy and happiness in a very fundamental way. It's a moment of forgiveness. Now, the experience that I had in regard to laying down my defenses was catastrophic. I struggled, and I'll speak of my own illumination for a minute. I struggled for many years with a deep, seething hatred of this world based on some experiences that I had 50 years ago or longer. And while I had successfully covered them with efforts to find purpose and meaning in a fundamental devastation that had left me with a recognition of the actual futility of this place, somewhere in the process of the teaching of myself, I learned it now through this course that I'm really only teaching myself, I began to experience moments connected with forgiveness in my recognition that my enemy was undergoing the same conflict and was looking for the same solutions that I was. And in the fundamental sharing that my enemy suffered as much as I did, I was able to evolve a new perspective of shared futility in the solution. And I came to a point in my life where there was no solution. And for most of us, the teaching that there was no solution was the beginning of salvation. For the direction that we turned to at the moment of no solution was the one that we knew we would have to find in order to escape the idea that we were trapped in this place of time and space. Can you see this with me? This is the point that each time you come in to me now and recognize me, you're willing to accept. Let's review. Those of you who haven't seen the quantum healing of Jesus Christ, the last script on that video indicates a little description of the point that almost all of you watching this video have now come to in your own space-time relationship. Listen. Let's look at the ordeal. The roads this world can offer seem to be quite large in number, but the time must come when everyone begins to see how like they are to one another. Men have died on seeing this because they saw no way except the pathways offered by the world, and learning they led nowhere, lost their hope. And yet this was the time when they could have learned their greatest lesson. Are you listening? All must come to this point and go beyond. To look upon the fear of God does need some preparation. Only the sane can look on stark insanity and raving madness with pity and compassion, but not with fear. This is the place to which everyone must come when he is ready. Nor is it possible to look on this too soon. Stand you here a while and tremble not. You will be ready. Let us join together in this quantum instant. Here, with the journey's end before you, you see its purpose. And it is here you choose whether to look upon it or to wander on, only to return once again. You have reached the end of an ancient journey, not realizing yet that it is over. You are still worn and tired, and the desert's dust still seems to cloud your eyes and keep you sightless. Only a little wall of dust still stands between you and your brother. Blow on it lightly and with happy laughter, and it will fall away, and you can walk into the garden that love has prepared for both of you.